Arlington, and what are the biggest obstacles to making this happen? If you support this concept, how would you overcome these obstacles?
All right, well, I definitely support thinking outside the box in constructing new school capacity. I ran for school board last year and I studied a little bit on the subject. I learned, for example, that Fairfax County renovated a vacant office building to extend an elementary school on Route 7 in Falls Church, and did so at a cost of $20 million, which is peanuts compared to what Arlington is spending for new elementary school capacity. We start at $50 million. Fairfax County did it for 20. I think that's amazing. Now, what is the biggest obstacle to doing this? The biggest obstacle to thinking outside the box with new schoolroom capacity is the school board that you elected. They absolutely refuse to think outside the box. There is no solution other than a traditional classroom building starting at $50 million and going up to $150 million that they will even consider as fit for human habitation. I kid you not. They will not think outside the box. And so if you want to build more classroom capacity at less cost, you've got to start.
Sorry, I wasn't watching Alex here for it, sorry.
So I'm intrigued by the idea of using existing buildings. Of course, Crystal City is the model test theory for that. There have been some tours by school officials of those facilities. Some are less suited to adaptive reuse, so let's not think that there are just a bunch of buildings there and all of them could be well suited for this use. That's probably not the case, but somehow, some way, there probably are a couple that are. And we are looking at projections which indicate in that general area of the county we'll likely have that need. So I am certainly interested in pursuing that. I think there are lots of people in many parts of the country who've gone to school in very vertical buildings that are non-traditional from what we build, and education can function thus fine. And beyond adaptive reuse of existing buildings, the wave of the future in Arlington in any event are vertical buildings much taller than one-level sprawls, two-level sprawls that we've been used to, and going 4 or 5 stories high, depending on the grade level.
I do think this is worth exploring in a long-term basis. The immediate obstacles, I do think, as Christian alluded, would be the cost of retrofitting that building. And also, of course, thinking about the transportation implications. You do have, especially with elementary, a lot of parents that do still want to drop their kids off. We might want to be changing that behavior, but that's not a behavior that's especially compatible with having kiddos in buildings that are more developed urban areas. I will tell you what I'd love to see us using more mixed-use buildings for is childcare centers. As many young parents know, we have a childcare shortage in this community, and so pursuing the plans to make the first floor building, or excuse me, making childcare a retail equivalent when you have a building where the first floor needs to be retail, and other zoning strategies that can allow us to increase childcare, which is very expensive, driven in part by very expensive rents here in Arlington. So perhaps long-term for schools, in the short term, yes, for childcare.
It is a very interesting idea, and I've had 2 kids go through the school system, and I think primarily maybe what the schools are thinking about in terms of this is that we got to ensure the safety of the child at school. If you have a mixed-use building, we have to make sure that the child in the classrooms are segregated off from the other parts of whatever mixed use that building is, because, you know, we live in an environment today where you're not quite sure who is in buildings, right? And you have the ability with the school system to today that you have one door that you can go in during the day that ensures that folks are not getting into those buildings that are not supposed to be there. So I think it's a safety issue, but I also think it's an issue that we should study and think about a little harder, because, you know, we are in a county that is expanding and we've got to look at new educational ideas, and it would be something to look at. But I'm not for building new facilities on parkland or any of those places. They have to be existing facilities.